As many of you know, I'm a new mom and Theo is now almost 4 months old. So I thought this would be the perfect time to share with you some of the newborn must-haves that have made our lives so much easier. If you're new to the channel, I'm Dr. Sam Ellis and I'm a board-certified dermatologist. I'm here to help you understand your skin and find products that work for you. So if that sounds good, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Before I get too far into the video, I do want to make it pretty clear, there are not that many true newborn must-haves. What do babies really need? They need your love and support. They need nourishment and they need a safe place to sleep. That being said, there are certainly products out there that made our lives so much easier. And so that's what I really want to get into today. Actually, while I was pregnant, I thought a lot about if I should really share what was on my registry, but I kind of wanted to wait and see what I actually used and what I found helpful, because I ended up returning things from my registry and buying new things within the first 1 to 2 months of Theo's life. So I feel like this list is very curated to things that are practical and useful and worked for our family. I've sort of broken up the must-haves into various categories like feeding and sleep and hygiene and mom care, etc., so that we can stay organized, but also if you are looking for something within a specific category, you can more easily find it within this video. Okay. Let's start with things related to feeding your baby. And I have primarily been breastfeeding, but regardless if you're breastfeeding or formula feeding or doing some combination of both of those, I think a lot of these recommendations will be universally helpful. First up are the Tomo bottles. I just grabbed this one off of my nightstand from this morning that has not been cleaned yet because that's our life now. But when I pulled my Instagram fam about their most recommended bottles, Tomo was recommended time and time again, and we've had a lot of success with this bottle. I like this bottle for a lot of reasons. One, it is totally leak-proof because when we're gonna be out for the day, sometimes I'm not in the mood to breastfeed in public or it's not gonna be ideal, so I just bring my breast milk in a bottle, but we throw it in the diaper bag and it doesn't matter what's happening, it's not leaking, and that is huge. I also really like the shape of this bottle. One, it's easy to hold, it just feels very ergonomic, and then this very wide mouth makes it super easy to clean. Speaking of cleaning, you can also throw this in the dishwasher, and just as a new mom, the more things that you can throw in the dishwasher or throw in the washing machine and not have to hand wash, just makes your life so much easier. One tip we got from our pediatrician about bottle feeding was to introduce it early. The earlier on that the baby can get used to the bottle, the better, because I knew I was gonna be going back to work after about 8 weeks, and we didn't wanna wait till I was right about to go back to work to see if he would take the bottle. And the other benefit of him being able to take a bottle is that overnight, my husband can do one of the feedings so that I don't have to wake up every 2 to 3 hours. And that has been a game changer. On the topic of bottles, you need to be able to clean them. Some people use bottle sterilizers. Because we don't rely on bottles that much, we didn't feel like a sterilizer was necessary and we just don't have the counter space. So we have this bottle brush by OXO. It's so good. I mean, it sits on your counter because it's got its own little stand. And then it's really easy to get it inside any shaped bottle. And then the other cool thing is that it has the little nipple cleaner, so you can get in right into the head of the bottle and clean that out. For whatever reason, breast milk is so hard to wash out of anything, off of anything, so this has been very helpful. If you plan on breastfeeding and you're going back to work, you're going to need a breast pump. And the one that I use, I really like a lot, and it's the Spectra S2. When I was going to buy a breast pump, I wanted a few things to be sure. One, I didn't want it to be super loud because I share an office with others and I didn't really want to disturb them when I was pumping at work. I also wanted it to be super easy to use because when you are a sleep-deprived new mom, the last thing you want to do is try to figure out some complicated breast pump. And this one's very easy to use. And then of course it has to be effective. And I really like that this one is very comfortable on the breasts. It's able to get a good amount of milk let down. I just haven't had any problems using it. I also really like that this pump holds a charge, so you can charge it up and then unplug it from the wall. So if you want to pump on the couch or in bed or at your desk, you can just pick it up and kind of take it anywhere with you and not always worry about being close to a wall outlet. So just a convenience factor thing. Speaking of convenient pumping, you need a strap or something to hold your pump in place on your breast so that you can be hands-free texting or working on your computer or whatever, so that that time that you're sitting there pumping, you're not having to hold your pump in place yourself. So I love this pump strap that I got off of Amazon because It's black, so if you spill on it, it's not a big deal. And also it's adjustable, so it should fit many body types and breast sizes, and it just makes the whole pumping experience so much easier. As someone who is breastfeeding and produces a lot of milk, something else I could not live without is the Haka breast pump. And I mean, it looks like such a nothing device, but it's fabulous. This won't be applicable to everyone, but at least for me and for a lot of women, when they breastfeed off of one breast, the other breast is still letting down milk. And that can mean the milk is squirting all over your couch or just leaking into your bra or just really just going to waste. And so what you do with the Haka is you essentially just suction it gently onto the opposite breast of what your baby's feeding off of. And it just helps collect a little bit of that extra breast milk. And that made me feel so much better. Like, one, I'm not wasting breast milk into my bra. And two, I now have this little stockpile of breast milk for days when I don't produce as much, or something to put in the bottle for my husband to give my son while I go off and do an errand or something like that. So it just helps collect a little bit of extra milk sort of passively. This is also great for if you need to do like a really quick pump sesh. Say you wake up in the middle of the night and one of your breasts is really engorged and a little bit uncomfortable, and you don't want to go through the whole ordeal of using your electric pump and putting on your pump strap and doing all of that. And you just need to relieve a little bit of pressure and just let down some of that milk. Using something like the Haka to just do that very quickly, and then you can go back to bed, is great. And then my final feeding related must-have is a nursing pillow. Having a new baby is hard on your body. You're bending over into the bassinet, you're hoisting the baby up on one shoulder or resting them on your hip or whatever you're doing. It can really tweak your body. And so anything that you can do to make everyday situations more ergonomic for yourself, the better. So I love the My Breast Friend, oh my gosh, it's hard to say, nursing pillow. Hi, looks like this. I love this for a lot of reasons. One, it has a removable cover, so if you were to get milk on it or the baby were to spit up on it, it's super easy to wash. It also has an adjustable strap that goes a lot around the waist, so it can fit a lot of different body types and body styles depending where your body is at postpartum. And then the final thing is that it's very stiff and sturdy, so it's very easy to just support yourself and your baby with the pillow, and it has these nice little pockets at the periphery if you want to put a water bottle in or your phone, or just make everything more convenient for yourself. All right, I definitely had the most recommendations within the feeding category, and that's just because so much of your life as a new mom is spent feeding your kid and figuring out how to do it and making it successful. So I wanted to give you as many tips and tricks and products that can help you with that as possible. The next sort of category is transportation. And yes, you're gonna need a baby stroller, but I mean, I like our stroller, but I wasn't like, this stroller is a must-have. However, our baby carrier, so good. I feel like I would recommend it to anyone. I will give it as a gift to anyone, and it's the Baby Bjorn Harmony Carrier. As a new mom, I loved the concept of baby wearing, just having your baby up close to you. It is such a special, wonderful feeling. But for the first month of Theo's life, he was not having it. We had our Solly baby wraps, which are more of a jersey style tie-on type of carrier. He wouldn't tolerate those. He wouldn't even go in this Baby Bjorn. But after 1 month, something just clicked and switched, and now he is obsessed with it, and I am obsessed with it because it allows me to carry him around our house when I'm doing house tasks or go out on a long walk with him. He often will fall asleep in it because it is so comfortable, not just for him, but also for me. It has lots of adjustable straps, both around the waist and over the shoulders, and I have a history of back problems, so it was really important for me to have a carrier that really felt supportive and supported my posture, and this one does that. I also really like that it's made of mesh and a very breathable material, because babies are like little furnaces, and if you're out on a hike or a walk, or it's summertime and you're trying to wear your baby in something that is tight and uncomfortable and doesn't breathe well, it's no good. And so this one just keeps you cool while you're wearing it, as cool as you can be when you have that little baby up on you. And then the last thing is, because it has these straps, you could get nervous about, is it going to be a pain in the butt to readjust the straps or finagle them? And it's really easy to adjust, which is great because my husband and I can share this one carrier. A lot of people had recommended to us that we get 2 separate carriers so that we didn't have to adjust in between, but it is so easy to slide the top straps as well as the straps around the waist to fit both of our bodies, so we can just share one carrier. All right, let's move on next to the entertainment and development and sort of toys category. I really only have 2 recommendations within this category, and If I combine these two, it's basically met all of Theo's entertainment and development needs up until this point, and I think will continue to meet his needs moving forward. First is the Lalo Play Gym. One, this is like a very aesthetically pleasing baby situation, especially if you're into sort of neutrals and minimalism like I am, but it has enough stuff on it to entertain a newborn, but it's not so overwhelming that there's all these extra things that a newborn won't use or interact with. If I'm hanging out in the living room folding laundry or trying to catch up on emails, it's very easy to lay Theo down underneath this play gym and he can look up at himself, and there's a mirror on it, there's like a little ball and some other little toys that are attached to it, and it's just very much meeting him at his level, but also giving him enough stimulation to have some individual sort of self-play. It also comes with these really cute art cards or flashcards that you can do with them, and babies like black and white, they like to see new images, and it just keeps it fun and playful and gives you something to do with your baby. And then the other thing that I think is just a genius idea and Theo has had such a good time with is these Love Every development kits. These are curated kits of play essentials based on your baby's age. So they have a special box that they send you when your baby is 0 to 3 months, a different box of toys when your baby is 4 to 5 months, 6 to 7 months, etc., etc. And you can buy these boxes individually or sign up for their subscription service, but I just love everything that comes in the box. The toys are beautiful, they're high quality, and they feel purposeful and thoughtful. And I don't know about everyone else, but as a new parent, you're constantly evaluating yourself. Like, am I doing enough for my baby? Am I treating them right? Am I stimulating them enough? Are my interactions appropriate for their age? And so this kit just kind of like lets you know, hey, these are the things your baby should be doing now. It's okay if they're not doing these things. These are great activities for you to do with them. Use these toys in this way. And it's just very helpful to have that guidance as a new parent and to have activities to do with your little one, because after 10 minutes, you might think like, what else can I do with this little newborn? And apparently a lot. One baby essential that I didn't really know how to categorize is the Baby Bjorn bouncer. This bouncer serves as just a really comfortable place to put your newborn down in. And so if you need to do your skincare routine or take a shower and you don't want to just like lay them on the ground, you want to be able to see them and interact with them and even play with them, the Baby Bjorn bouncer is perfect for that. Theo is super comfortable in it, and as he has gotten bigger, he continues to fit in it very well. Even when we're like eating dinner at a friend's house, we take the Baby Bjorn bouncer and we can put him in that. So it just gives you a nice place to put your baby down. They can self-soothe by bouncing themselves in it, or you can bounce them in it, but it's just been a really fabulous addition to our baby products. Okay, let's move on to the hygiene category. I feel like as a dermatologist, this is sort of my sweet spot. My number one recommendation is the Angel Care Baby Bath. This was not the original bath that we had on our registry, but the one we got off our registry just was too big and kind of awkward. And this Angel Care Baby Bath is the opposite of that. It is petite, so you could put it in a sink or we put it in our bathtub. It is really lightweight. It requires zero assembly. And I think the most important thing is that your baby is very secure when they're sitting in it. So you can actually be hands-free, or you can use 2 hands to grab a washcloth or baby soap or whatever. And you don't need to constantly be like, oh my gosh, my baby's about to slip out of the tub or slump down or anything like that. Because bath time can be stressful, and it shouldn't be. It should be a time that you get to relax with your baby and have that special bonding moment. And this tub has totally allowed us to do this. Bath time is literally Theo's favorite thing. And although you don't need to bathe your newborn every single day, like not even close to that, we do bath time every single night because he just loves being in there, and I feel really comfortable having him in this tub. Another hygiene related product that we really love is our Kikaroo Peanut Changer. This is just a really nice changing pad that sits on top of your changing station. It's squishy, so it's comfortable for your baby to lie down on when they're having their diaper changed. And then it is water resistant, so if your baby has an accident, whether that is pee or poop or some combination of both, because that will happen too, it's incredibly easy to wipe down and just keep the diaper station clean. And then in the same category as diaper changing, I love, and I think this is a fabulous product, the Skip Hop changing station, the one that you use on the go that you can put in your diaper bag. We use this all the time because we love going out in the world, but that is also the time when Theo decides that he wants to have his massive blowouts. So having this changing station that you can kind of put down on the ground or a park bench or on the grass, and you can put some diapers in it and some wipes and maybe some butt cream all in there and just have it in this compact little all-in-one changing station is great. I do want to take a second just to talk about clothing and comforts. You're going to get a lot of clothing as baby gifts. It's an easy thing to give, and I love receiving clothing from my patients and from other people who gave us baby gifts, because your baby goes through a lot of stuff and they grow out of things quickly. So getting that as a gift is great. The one particular type of clothing that I think is so helpful, especially for newborns, are zip-up onesies. The reason for this is sort of twofold. One, when you have a newborn, they feel like the most precious, fragile thing, and then they have this big old head that kind of knocks around like a coconut. And the last thing you want to do is try to stretch a onesie over their head, especially if it's the middle of the night, because you either don't want to wake them up or you don't want to irritate them. So having a onesie that zips from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom is amazing. Also, if your baby has a blowout, which they will have many, many, many of, if you have a onesie that goes over their head, then you either have to remove that soiled onesie up over the top of their head, which I don't recommend, or you have to try to like shimmy it down over their shoulders. Whereas if you have them in a onesie that is zip up or zip down, you can just sort of peel it off of them, and it's so much easier and less traumatic for both you and the baby. And then probably the most obvious point is that zippers are just so much easier to work with than individual snaps. My favorite brand of zippered onesies are the Monica and Andy onesies. They are so cute. The patterns are adorable, but also they are stretchy. So Theo always just looks really comfortable in that particular onesie. They also don't shrink in the wash, which is huge, and they don't fade in the wash. So I feel like whenever those onesies are clean, they're definitely the ones I reach for first. My other must-have within the clothing and comforts category is a super soft, cozy baby blanket. And one of my patients got us this Barefoot Dreams baby blanket, and it is perfection. I have my own Barefoot Dreams blanket that I live in. It is like the coziest thing in my house. And I'm so happy that Theo has this blanket. When we do skin to skin time, when I'm breastfeeding, I wrap this around him, and it is just so soft and gentle against his skin. It is thick and plushy and high quality. And this is the kind of baby blanket that lasts forever. And so I'm just so happy that he has this. And this is something that I will give as a gift to my friends in the future for their baby, because he just loves it so much and I love using it with him. Let's talk about sleep essentials. Now, sleep is so individual for each newborn, but it is so essential because if your baby's not sleeping, you are not sleeping. So these are the things that have worked for us. So one is the Halo Sleep Sack. This is essentially a sleep swaddle. And I think I love it so much because when you put Theo in it, initially he looks like a little angel. It's just incredibly cute, but it also helps you swaddle his arms in nice and tight so that your baby can't wriggle out in the middle of the night and kind of startle himself awake. I also love our white noise machine that also doubles as a nightlight, the Hatch Rest. For the first several months of your baby's life, they are going to be living in your room, and a white noise machine helps both of you sleep because one, it sort of mimics the sounds of the womb, so it helps the baby stay asleep and not be startled by small noises in the night. But also, babies are really noisy sleepers. They make grunting sounds and they cry out in their sleep and they strain against their swaddle. And as a new parent, you're going to wake up with every little sound that you hear, so having some ambient white noise helps you stay asleep also. This one's great because it connects via an app to your phone, so you can control it from your bed without having to get up. So if your baby's kind of crying out in the middle of the night and you need to turn on a nightlight, you can do it from your phone. You're not fumbling around in the dark, and you can turn on all different colors of light. So instead of turning on this bright white light in the middle of the night, you can turn on a glowing pink light or a blue light to be more soothing. And then you can kind of change the type of white noise that you want it to emit based on your preferences. I also love just having a straightforward portable nightlight. So this is a nursery nightlight that you can kind of pick up and take anywhere with you, and you just tap it to turn it on, and then you just kind of hold down the top to turn it to various levels of brightness. And this is great. We keep it out in sort of our landing area outside of our bedroom. So if we have to take the baby out of the room in the middle of the night to calm him down or change him, or for me to nurse him, I have this little light with me that is not super bright. It doesn't startle him awake, and it's just easy to take anywhere in the house that I need to go when the lights are down. And then my final must-have is the Philips Avent Soothie pacifier. This is the same one that he got in the hospital. And initially I was very anti-pacifier, and I don't really know why. I thought, gosh, I don't need to rely on something to soothe my baby. But once we introduced the pacifier to Theo, it was a game changer. It really just helped him calm down. I didn't know that when babies suck on a pacifier, it helps them release endorphins. It can also be a signal or a sleep cue. So I love having a pacifier for him. We don't need to use it all the time, but this one has been great. It's nice and lightweight. It stays in his mouth. It's easy to clean. Great product. Now I want to talk about a mommy must-have, and this is particularly for if you are breastfeeding. In the beginning especially, breastfeeding can be incredibly painful. Babies have not mastered their latch, that skin is not used to that kind of constant contact and suckling, and so nipples can become incredibly chafed, they can bleed, and I know people who have just straight up quit breastfeeding because it was so painful for them. So I went into the breastfeeding world very intimidated and very nervous, and I wanted to be as prepared as possible, and one thing that several physician moms had recommended to me is something called silverettes. They look like this. They're little covers that fit over your nipples, and they are supposed to be used in between breastfeeding, and they really help your nipples stay calmed down and can help with chafed, cracked, distressed nipples. The nice thing about them is that you can just put a drop of your breast milk inside of them and then put them inside of your bra. You don't have to put any nipple butters or nipple creams on. And I feel like a lot of new moms are really nervous about what's going in their baby's mouth. And so if you use something like silverettes, you don't have to rely on other types of nipple care, which is great. And this is probably TMI, but I had zero issues with my nipples when I was breastfeeding, not one crack or one bleed. And of course, some of that is attributable to luck, but I think using these nipple covers in the first month of breastfeeding was huge as well. And the last thing I want to touch on in terms of newborn must-haves are just a couple of really helpful resources for new parents. One is this cool app called Wonder Weeks that essentially walks you through your baby's developmental milestones as they happen. And it syncs with your calendar. So it'll show up on your calendar like, hey, Theo is entering leap 2. And then you can go into the app and see, okay, what's happening during leap 2? This is why he might be acting differently. These are the developmental milestones that he's meeting at this point in his life. These are how I can cope. These are how I can understand this. And so it just helps give you some context and some perspective as a new parent. And the other resource that I think has been invaluable to us is the Taking Care of Babies sleep courses. Kara, who is the woman who designed this course, is a neonatal nurse. Her husband is a pediatrician. She has 4 kids of her own, and she has really mastered baby sleep and understanding baby sleep and helping you understand and improve your baby's sleep. And I didn't really think I needed a course like that, but when your kid is not sleeping, you feel desperate for anything. And her course has just been so tangibly helpful and practical, and everyone I recommend it to has found it helpful as well. So you rock Taking Care of Babies. You have gotten me a lot more hours of sleep. What are some of your must-have baby products for newborns? Tell me in the comments. We can all learn from this. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.